Hey, it's Bryce Carlins here from Robotics Competition News at 2017 World's Championships in Houston. I'm here with Omar from across the road.
How you doing?
Talking about a little bit about their products, different things they provide, new stuff this year, and a little bit about like tips and tricks on how to use some of their stuff. So let's start with some of the products they offer for FS3 teams.
Sure. So a lot of teams know us now for making the battery Beak, the Talon SRX, the Victor SP, the PCM, the PDP, and I think that's about it for the FRC stuff. So here's an example of the battery Beak. It's a product that's used to measure the health and internal resistance of a battery. This can save a match if you are about to go out to a match with a dead battery, unknowingly so. That can be the difference between losing a match for all the wrong reasons or playing to your full potential.
Better than a multimeter.
Way better than a multimeter.
It does load testing and everything.
Yeah, the misconception a lot of teams have is that a voltmeter is sufficient, but that can really work against you because it can give you a false positive as far as a healthy battery, and then you go out to the field and find out it's not way too late. As far as what's in the robot control or in the robots that are competing, you'll find a variety of things like the Talon SRX, PDP, PCM, VRM. A lot of these devices are CAN devices, which before us, there wasn't a very strong presence of CAN communication. So we kind of changed that by making robots more like planes, tanks, and cars, where you have several smart modules that each do what they are responsible for doing very, very well, instead of doing everything in one clustered control system. So that allows for expansion opportunities. It allows for robots to become more and more complex. The Talon is a good example of that. This year we added, by the request of teams, motion magic, current limiting, so that your climbers and drivetrains can be capped on the amount of current that they draw. And some tweaks and improvements to the way velocity is measured so that you guys can draw or closed loop velocity far more quickly, get more of the fuel into the end target, score more points, do better. We also sell a variety of small accessories, I guess I would call them. What we're best known there are the ribbon cables, which are used for connecting primarily sensors to Talon SRXs. And these ferrules, which a lot of you teams don't know about. So ferrules are nice because some teams struggle with the task of inserting a stranded wire into the wide Mueller connectors. Wide Mueller connectors are present at the bottom of the PDP, VRM, PCM. What's nice about the connector is it's fairly simple. So you strip a wire, press a button, and insert. But when you're trying to do a quick repair inside of a dark robot without a lot of space, there are some things you can do. Using these ferrules is one way of improving. We use them internally all the time. So for example, on one of our test robots, which is hero-based, you can see we use ferrules for CAN connectors. So we found that just makes it easy to diagnose, troubleshoot, replace. One tip that I do recommend for teams is whether you use ferrules or not, anytime you set up a connector, always tug test each individual wire. And when I say that, I don't mean grabbing like a pair of CAN wires. I mean you pull each individual wire. If I were to go do that now, I suspect I'll find many teams with wires that just came out. I repaired or helped the team repair a robot yesterday where they had power wired incorrectly, and that ended up one of many of the reasons why the robot wasn't performing to its full potential. So I think that covers the FRC stuff. We sell a variety of things outside of FRC, like the Hero control system. A lot of teams don't know we have our own control system. It's marketed at or sold at retail $60. And it supports a variety of things like display, LED strips, Talons, of course, PCM, PDPs, all the CAN devices. And if you're a team that's growing, where that may help you grow is certainly in the off season. If you want to learn more about the advanced features of the rest of the control system, here is a way to do that without having to invest in a full FRC kit or investing in yet another RoboRio, because you may need that RoboRio for competition. I've seen teams build hero-based robots for parades and marathons and fundraising events, and also as a tool for learning about how to write good software in the off-season. So it serves a myriad of purposes.
What kind of programming languages does the Hero support? Is it like kind of similar Arduino based?
That's
or?
a good question. It's primarily C#. It
Okay.
runs what is referred to as NetMF or .NET Micro Framework. So you go online, you download Visual Studio Community 2015. That's the free one. You USB in, file new project. We have a bunch of example templates and GitHub examples, and create it. Hit play. You get full debugger. Call stack watch. Programmers know what I'm talking about. Call stack watch list breakpoints. All the debugging stuff that you would expect in Visual Studio pretty much works out of the box with the Hero. And we have a lot of customers who build robots using our control system. And we, of course, build our own robots as well for customers for a variety of reasons. This is an example of I call it a baby robot, but essentially it's a small Mecanum-based robot with sonar sensors and our Wi-Fi module. And what we've been demoing at Worlds now is a system where we connect the Pixie camera, which a lot of teams are using, a growing number of teams are using Pixie camera for their alignment and servoing. We use that as well and support it in the Hero control system. So expect to see future enhancements there in our product line as far as vision and vision integration.
That's very cool. I know vision is something that a lot of teams are like really trying to push into. So it's like making it one step easier hardware-wise. It's always like an advantage. As far as integrating the Hero with FRC robots, is it like it's like someone wanted like a nice light controller that's easy to work with, or something that could like easily interface with the Rio? Have you seen teams use them for that kind of aspect?
I don't think I've seen a team use that yet, and maybe we should market that use case a little bit better. What the potential there, the fact that the RoboRio has CAN bus and the Hero has CAN bus effectively means you can make your own ECUs.
Right.
So as long as you play by the rules, you could accomplish a great deal of things. So for example, if you're a programmer and you really like C#, but you want your main base code to follow one of the main languages, LabVIEW, C++, Java, but you want to develop a subsystem that does some sensor fusion processing, you want to leverage the cross-the-road example for Pixie on Hero, that's a nice package solution. And then with CAN bus, you can wire in your CAN high, CAN low, just make it participate on your bus,
right.
And with a little bit of effort, you can get them communicating. I had one team doing R&D using Hero to develop a LiDAR processor. So they communicated with a LiDAR sensor, did all their processing in Hero, and transmitted the process result on CAN bus for consumption by the RoboRio or whatever. So there's a blurring line between FRC and non-FRC because
code processors are just getting more and more prevalent,
yes.
especially with vision.
Especially with vision, for sure.
Very cool stuff. So what kind of tips and tricks do you have as far as like the Wago connectors that are used extensively on the PDP, wide Mueller connectors? Because I know a lot of teams, like you were saying, struggle with how to use them well and best practices with stranded wires.
What I find helpful is, first off, this is a Wago tool. We sell this as well, but you can source it in a few places. Its primary purpose is for installing wires into the Wago. I know you're asking about the wide Mueller, but this is worth a quick demonstration. Carefully insert into the Wago, leverage and push to insert, and you'll find the aperture, the opening underneath the connector will open, allowing you to insert your wire. And when your wire is placed, you pull out and you tug test the wire.
So you just insert instead of having to reach in and then pry. Yeah.
That's right. Now a lot of teams are surprised that if you insert all the way,
it's just open.
It's super easy. Now, a secondary benefit to a tool like this is I find that I use it to actually open and close the individual wide Muellers. So I have stupid fingers, and this helps solve that. As a quick example, here's a Talon with some stripped ends, and this is no ferrule. Mm-hmm. So let's suppose we're inside of a robot. It helps to have someone with the flashlight, so there's a lot of cheap little battery-powered LED flashlights. Mm-hmm. When I was CSAing, I'd always carry one on me. Right. I recommend every team have one of those. But essentially, you squeeze down on the connector. Shouldn't have to squeeze very much. Insert the wire strand. Careful to prevent the twisted, the exposed end from fraying. And then insert and release. Some students don't know to squeeze down on the button, so what happens is that it frays as they insert and disconnect over time. Also, it helps to be positioned above the connector, but I'll do my best. And then, as I said, tug test each individual wire. That's very important.
But then what if it comes out?
Then you investigate and figure out why,
Yeah.
because there's a problem. There's an underlying problem there that
Right.
needs to be solved. Now, what's nice about the ferrules, which again we sell ferrules for and we sell the crimper for. Here's a pre-baked example. Here's my same tool, Wago tool, and I'll choose these connectors because they're convenient. Note that my talons are upset now because I disconnected CAN bus. So what's nice about these is because this is crimped and solid, the metal, the conductive portion of the wide Mueller is solid. A lot of times you can just squish them in.
Oh, nice.
Without the muss and fuss of preventing the ends from fraying. So that's a robustness improvement.
Right.
So whether you're wiring CAN or power, it's an improvement. And it cleans up your wires, and it'll make your CSAs happy. It'll reduce events where your robot loses connectivity in the middle of a match because there was a power short.
You run into a wall and your connections like kind of waver a little bit, and then your Rio goes out for 20 seconds while it reboots.
Yep. And by the way, that's the telltale sign. Teams, if you're losing connectivity in the middle of a match, but it's for a period of time, 20 to 30 seconds, that's a strong indication that either your Rio or radio or both have power cycled, in which case, leverage the driver station logs. There's some good information there that will help you root cause those kind of problems quickly.
Yeah, the driver station logs on like the PDP for the power logs and getting the individual port power logs, that's something that I know teams and like my team has been used very heavily with troubleshooting. This motor acted really weird this match. Can we see how it was like kind of the amp draw I was using and that kind of thing? So
that's a good point. And to add on to that, a lot of teams are an increasing number of teams are increasing number of motors in your drive systems, your drivetrains. So 4, 6, 8 motors is not abnormal. That means 4, 6, 8 motor controllers. And you may be doing simple drives. You may be leveraging the motion magic features of Talon. You may be doing your own motion profile generation and velocity closed looping or feeding them into the MPE of the Talon. But regardless of how you're doing it, if you lose a motor because of a connection issue, it would be wonderful to confirm it in the drivetrain, in the log of the PDP. And that's available and automatically works in every driver station. So yeah, I can't stress that enough.
very, very cool. All right, I think that's about it for us. So thank you so much, Omar. I know you guys will be here across the road. I know you guys are like very heavily like in First. Everything's in the kit parts. So check the guys out. Their website's there. Check them out on First. And we catch up with you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you.